It's another day here in the shop today, and the Nissan is still parked in here, so naturally we are going to go outside and we're going to go get the Jimmy to get the four-wheel drive working on that and drive it through the ditches, because we have not done that with the Jimmy yet. The course was not created until the four-wheel drive broke on the Jimmy, and today's the last dry day we're going to have this week, I think. So we got to get some work done on that, get the four-wheel drive going. And then hopefully get that thing listed for sale. It's been around here a little long for my taste, even though we just did a lot of work that makes it look way cool, but I'm ready to see it gone. So I'm gonna go pull that thing up to the door over here. We'll rebuild the front drive shaft and throw it back in and go test it. And then maybe, if there's time, we'll run to the parts store, get a radiator hose for this, and then see if this isn't overheating anymore and holds coolant. That'd be neat, but let's get started. Guess we need more keys. Everything seems to always be in the way of everything around here. It's quite the interesting problem, if I'm honest. So, since we got to move the Cummins to get the Blazer out, we're gonna move this and put it somewhere else. That sounds fun. Old reliable here. Starts right up every time. Except for when my starter went out, but that's only happened one time. There we go. See, there was plenty of room. Now I can lay on the concrete to do this instead of in the gravel. That's much better. So anyways, I've got this. It feels like it's gonna fall out the bottom. That'd be neat. Let me get this open one second. Alright, so we have this. This is a new CV joint for the drive shaft. I went to the junkyard and I got this one, which was really convenient because it was just laying on the ground. Little did I know that there was such a big size difference in the two. I didn't think that the S10 and the Jimmy would have such drastically different lengths in them. And this, I guess, could have come out of the older one it was sitting next to, but who knows? Anyways, this one won't work. I already got the CV off of the drive shaft that came out of the Jimmy. So all I got to do is throw the grease down into there so that this joint is greased, because right now it is dry as a bone and that's no good for it. It was supposed to come with a better tool than just a bag to put the grease in there, but you know. So we got to get all the grease down into there, and then this will just clip right onto that the old drive shaft, and then we'll throw it right in the Jimmy, and then we'll take the Jimmy right to the ditches. All right, drive shaft is in. I didn't film really because it just laying on the ground. Really wouldn't see much. It was kind of a pain just because there's not a lot of space to fit the drive shaft in, and then magically it fit. So it's installed, and I'm going to leave it like that, and we are going to go test the four-wheel drive and hopefully not break it immediately since that is a brand new joint. The old one, let me flippy-do, lost all of its innards. I saved some of it over there on the trophy shelf of expensive parts I've broken this year. I saved, there was only 4 of the balls left in there, which I guess, if you look at this, 2, 3, 4, there's only missing 2, which is not hateful, but you don't want to be missing any, so. At the end of the year, all of this stuff is going to be welded into a trophy, so whoever signs our vest the most times, which if you don't know what that's about, you can go back and watch our off-roading in the ditches video. Whoever signs the vest the most times is going to get the trophy at our Christmas party with all of these pieces welded together. So, for now, it's time to go have fun and test this thing. It's another day in the shop today, and today I'm going to be working on the Nissan, kind of focusing on it. I got the grill back on, which is making it already look just so much better than it was. And I've got started on the coolant drain for the lower radiator hose. There was really not much in it, and it looks really gross because there was some oil in there and a little bit of rainwater. So it doesn't look like coolant, so don't worry about that. But I got a new radiator hose for it. I just got to get one of the other hose clamps off and drop that out of there. And then I might start working on a front bumper. That sounds kind of fun. But honestly, what's probably going to happen is I'm going to pull the wheels off and see if I can't get the brakes to not be so sticky. Everything seems to work fine. They just grab and don't really let go very good. So I'm hoping I can get those apart and grease up the slide pins, and that'll be fine. And then otherwise, I'm going to clean out the inside because it's really gross. I've already taken all the beer cans and stuff out of it because the guy I bought it from, he used it kind of as a beater and for like a day or two. And him and his buddies all just started throwing their trash in the back of it as it sat outside of his shop, and he wasn't doing anything with it. So I'm going to get that done. And it looks a little tall right now. I think that's the right height that I want to shoot for because that looks really good. But the front's on jack stands right now, so it's a little taller than what it would be normally. Anyways, we're going to start on the coolant hose and then probably work our way to the inside, so I'm going to get started. Well, here's the problem right here, if my thing will focus for you. Just got a split in the hose. That's what we wanted to see. I ruined this hose clamp getting it off because this thing, when I was gripping onto it, trying to rotate the screw, it just twisted the hose clamp. So I went ahead and just cut it for simplicity. I've got plenty of hose clamps that I can throw on there, better hose clamps even. So we just got to take our new one and that is bulged out pretty far. Or I'm holding it backwards. There we go. It ought to fit. Anyways, we got to throw this on there and fill it with coolant and see if that fixes the problem. Now the previous owner gave me another caliper, and looking closely, or not so closely at all, you can see these ones are all nasty and rusty, and this one's actually in pretty good shape, and these pistons are a little bit different. Alright, so I got both calipers off. I kind of showed you the other one already. You can see why it was locked up from those pistons. This one is the same way. The pistons in there are super rusty. I don't want to touch it because it's got brake fluid all over it. But the way to know if it's the piston and not like a brake line or something, or the slide pins, first of all, you can see these slide pins are nice and free on this side as well. And you can loosen the bolts, and if you can spin them like this by hand, they're generally pretty good to go. Also, since I could not compress the brake caliper, I loosened the banjo bolt there. Normally you could loosen the bleeder, but the bleeders are pretty well froze up on these. But I loosened that banjo bolt, and the caliper still would not compress, so that rules the rubber line being the problem out. Because if the rubber line is stopped up, as soon as you crack open the bleeder or the banjo bolt and you try to compress your caliper, it'll compress. So calipers are the problem. I've got one replacement from the guy I bought it from. He knew that front right was going, but now the front left has also gone. So I'm going to get that on order. It'll be here in a couple of days. So we're going to turn to the beautiful interior here, which is in great condition. Hasn't been sitting, hasn't been wet. Smells phenomenal. Yeah, it needs some loving. So I'm gonna get my shop vac going, and I'm gonna get a good carpet cleaner for these seats mostly. The carpet is fine. It's gray carpet and it's in a cheap car, so it's fine. The seats are nasty. We're going to try to get this thing cleaned up as much as we can. We'll go from there.